Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Desert Sky Adventures, and welcome to 2023. Today, we're heading back to the Mescal movie set, and Lieutenant Dan will once again be our guide. We're going to be checking out some filming locations from the 1995 film The Quick and the Dead. And if you didn't see the last video, we were out at Mescal to check out the Tombstone filming locations. You might want to check that video out. I'll put a link in the description, but it's amazing to see how much these two films have in common. So let's head out to Mescal and check out filming locations for The Quick and the Dead. So Lieutenant Dan brought us over to this first filming location, and if you saw the last video, you know that this is where they shot all the exterior scenes in the movie Tombstone for the Birdcage Theater. But in The Quick and the Dead, this is actually the hotel, with the clock attached to it, very important in the film's storyline. This is a really interesting shot here because you get almost this exact same shot in the movie Tombstone with this building dressed up as the birdcage. And there's Wyatt Earp's house in the background, still there. But in The Quick and the Dead, that is just a house in the background.
Feature prominently in the storytelling, but you do see it a lot in the background. You see the windows painted just like we have them as the tonsorial. You can really tell or see this towards the beginning of the gunfight competition. Over here in the middle of the street is where Leonardo DiCaprio stands. At the end of the street, he's facing off with Gunson, the Swedish gunfighter. If you look past DiCaprio, and I know a lot of ladies say I can't look past DiCaprio, but if you do look past him, you'll see these windows just like we have them painted up here. And there's a few people on the porch here cheering on DiCaprio.
You don't get a whole lot of good exterior shots of the gun shop in the movie, but in this scene here, you can see this guy is walking through the doorway of the gun shop. Same doorway we see here. The interior scenes of the gun shop were shot right here as well.
So in The Quick and the Dead, this is where that glass gun case would have been set up. So DiCaprio would be standing right about where I am, Gene Hackman would have been here, and Russell Crowe would be pacing in the back. If you remember from that movie, he's shackled part of the time because Gene Hackman's character is trying to get him to participate in the gunfight. And then DiCaprio demonstrates all the guns, and Hackman says, "No, I want the most worthless piece of crap you have in one bullet." He wants to give that to Russell Crowe so he can beat him in the gunfight. Remember the back room where Sharon Stone was sleeping on those cakes of dynamite? There's your back room right back there.
Oh, cool.
Now, it has been altered a little bit over the 30 years since, or almost 30 years since they've been out here. The room actually went a little bit deeper back than it is today. But that's it in all its glory as you see it now.
The shelves on that back wall have changed a little bit, but other than that, you can see it's the exact same paneling that we saw in the film. And those windows over there on the left side are the same ones we see here in the background.
Okay.
Now over to the hotel at Mescal. They've used this hotel in many, many films. But in The Quick and the Dead, this was the Pigeon Nest Club and Cafe. And it still has the Pigeon Nest Club and Cafe sign. Obviously, not the same one from the movie. This is another location that we see in the film. The facades have changed a little bit, but the windows and doors match up perfectly with what you see here. Let's see what else we can match up from the movie. If you look closely in the movie Tombstone during the OK Corral scene, you will see these same mountains in the background.
Clock would have been up high on the right side. Here in the middle, in this empty area, is where they would have had Herod's house. Do you remember the house that blows up? Gene Hackman's character has that mansion looking real nice place. That would have been over here in the middle. And then out here in this vacant courtyard is where that white water fountain was. You remember that? Where Russell Crowe spends part of the time cheating to it.
Next, we get to take a good look at this brick building, which a lot of the movie was filmed either in or around.
Then this young lady right here, this was built specifically for The Quick and the Dead. It wasn't here for any of the movies prior to it. This was built on the insistence of Sharon Stone. At the risk of sounding melodramatic, just like the Jersey Lily, this building, I think, takes on a character of its own in the movie because so much of the story is told either inside it or right out here on the streets. So it features very prominently in the film. So we're going to go, we're going to walk up quietly and check and see if they're filming. But I do ask you, or invite you, when we walk past the brick, touch it. Just see how high quality of brick they have. This is stuff you can't buy at a normal construction store. You're going to have to really look hard for this stuff.
Is it styrofoam? It looks real, that's what matters.
I mean, that is the best quality right there, huh? It's earthquake proof from what I've been told.
That's actually really cool. Yeah.
But it looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, we have one of our volunteers here, Bill. He's very good at making that color, make it look like brick that's been weathered. So you can walk under here. I'll peek in and see if they're filming. We're clear, folks. So when you go in, there's one more thing to cover. I'll cut you loose.
Last minute details.
Yeah, this is a tour. I think it's the last tour.
If you look around this room and you've seen The Quick and the Dead for 10 minutes, you know where you're at. Again, most of the story unfolds right in this very room.
I did my best to try and match up as many shots from the movie as I could. Oh, they wanted to go shopping. This is typically the end of the tour, but there was one building in particular the ladies wanted to see up close. And in order to do that, Lieutenant Dan was going to have to walk us out there. It's quite a ways. But you don't want to let him down, do you, Lieutenant Dan?
Why are you going down to this end? Remember in The Quick and the Dead, when Gary Sinise, who plays the sheriff, remember when Gene Hackman and his thugs come and drag him out of his sheriff's office? We'll pass that on the way down here.
Oh, cool.
And you remember during that scene and other scenes where it shows Sharon Stone as a little girl hiding behind the rose bushes? That garden would have been right here on the side of the jail.
Oh, okay.
And so right about in here is where they would have hung him, or remember they were going to hang him, and then she shoots him in the head. That would all taken place right in this area. And
You can tell by looking at these mountains in the background that this is the location where poor Gary Sinise got hung and shot. The Young Riders was a TV show that was popular in the early 90s, and it was filmed out here at Mescal. Lieutenant Dan was good enough to take us to the set, or what was left of it.
Now what used to be here, and you can still see some of the remnants of it over here, at one point there was an entire ranch set right where we're standing. It had a two-story house. It had outbuildings, a barn, corrals. One storm came through, washed it all away. Or I should say knocked it down. But the bunkhouse, the lower portion of that building, stayed intact, thankfully. So people like you now, like young riders.
Because the house would have been right there in this area.
You remember that? So yeah, if you
Crow.
can ignore the white color and ignore that second story, this was the bunkhouse. Again, just recently renovated for that production that was out here. And even this whole area has been cleaned up quite a bit. We had a lot of tall grass and a lot of things encroaching on it.
Here's a couple more shots from the young riders they filmed here at Mescal. All locations we saw earlier in this video. Alright guys, well that'll wrap it up for our look at the Quick and the Dead filming locations today. I definitely appreciate you coming along with us. Well, I want to give a big thanks to Lieutenant Dan, for our tour guide, for taking the time out to show us some extra locations there that they don't usually show the public. But Mescal Movie Lot, it's open usually on weekends. You can check them out if you're interested. Go to their website. But that's it for today, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Until next time, we'll see you down the road.